Ladies and gents, it's the question is down there. Um, will Shaggy slash Daphne pairing ever happen? You see, this is a question apparently a lot of fans have. They want to know whether or not this pairing will ever occur, and well, when you think about it, it has occurred in the past. I mean, as a lot of people bring up sometimes when you go to different forums, Shaggy and Daphne have taken place, if you will, in between '83 and '86. You know, with the all new Scooby-Doo show slash Scooby-Doo Mysteries, 13 Ghosts. Pretty much had your evidence there. But then a lot of people, when you go on YouTube or various forums, will point out that there are subtle hints out there that indicate that there's a possibility that it can happen. Especially with, the movies and the direct-to-video animated films. I mentioned this before in an audio video. I'll mention it again. Someone did two fan vids, if you will, called 100 Moments and 140 Moments, or 140 Hints, or whatever you want to call it. And they were basically using screen captures of scenes, not just from shows, but from various movies as well. As a matter of fact, the one I just got today, courtesy of DVD Fab, Music of the Vampire, there's several scenes, obviously, that hint to it there. But, and this is what boggles a lot of these fans' minds. And I mentioned this in the cartoon flashback deal earlier today. But again, this boggles a lot of their minds. See, what boggles their mind is what boggles the mind is, and what they don't understand is Warner Brothers, along with the HB division, Hanna-Barbera division, is literally, as they have put it, literally sitting on a gold mine. They are. They're literally sitting on a gold mine that all they have to do, if you will, is make that gold mine become a reality. And that gold mine is pairing Shaggy and Daphne together. And they want it to happen. They know and these fans know money can be made there. Because essentially, what they're looking at is you got the opposites attract scenario that always seems to work. You've got Shaggy, who, when you think about it, is sort of like, what is the best scenario for Shaggy? It kind of sounds strange, but he's kind of like a Broadway from Gargoyles. When the Goliath Chronicles happened, no one ever thought Broadway was going to end up with Angela, Goliath's daughter, but he did. And I guess it was sort of hinted at the end of the season finale of Gargoyles, at the end of Hunter's Moon Part 3. It was kind of hinted at, but you didn't think it was going to happen. But it did. It did happen. It did happen. But you never thought someone like her would go for him, someone like him. But she did. And it was just, and again, as strange as the comparison that is, that's how fans look at Shaggy and Daphne. They look at Shaggy as being like Broadway. They look at Daphne being like Angela. So they look at both of them and they say, you know what? if and they look at that and they think these two could work. These could work better, even in today's society. It could work, but apparently, that's not the case, is it? It's not the case. Even though, as some people say, it apparently can work. But now the question is, will it happen nowadays? And I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again. I believe it will. I truly believe it will. It's just that you got to wait for the right opportunity for somebody to come in and say, you know what, guys? There's a lot of fans that are saying that we're sitting on a gold mine right now, and we're not taking advantage of it. And I'm sure a lot of those people at WB would be like, well, what gold mine are you talking about? They said, well, we're always making direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movies. Why not make one? Well, it's basically we finally give the fans what they want. And I'm sure those people will be like, well, what do you mean give them what they want? We always give them what they want. No, not exact. Well, yeah, we do. But what they really want is this. They want Shaggy and Daphne together. We should make it happen. And because a lot of people from what I understand are saying it's a gold mine that if we do it, it's going to take off like a rocket. But is it? You see, that would be the question they would be having. They'd be like, well, yeah, that sounds good and everything, but will it take off like a gold mine? Or is it just something they want to see happen so they hope that we make it official and canon? Again, no one really knows. You see, and you see a lot of people, are kind of unsure whether or not it will happen. Again, I believe it will, in my opinion, but we just got to wait for the right opportunity. When you take a look at something like, Mystery Incorporated, a lot of people look at the series and look at the ending and they're like, yeah, well, we're, as Shaggy Daphne supporters, we're screwed, we're fucked, excuse my language, but we're fucked, we're screwed, we're never going to get it to happen. But guess what? The way I look at Mystery Incorporated, I look at it as nothing more than a rebooting. It's a rebooting of the franchise, and Mystery Incorporated has basically been this decade's and this generation's Where Are You? That's what it's been. It's been this decade and this generation's version of Where Are You? That's all it's been. Yes, it was darker. Yes, it was more dramatic. Yes, it was basically played out as a junior teen novel, if you will, if not a teenage novel. But basically, it, with all of that, it was still this year's answer to Where Are You? Because when it was being developed, didn't they not say it was going to be like a reboot? And it was. It was like a reboot. It was a reboot. Whether you like it or not, it was a reboot. So now the question is, what's next? Because when you take a look at the movies that have come out after it, the movies have no connection to Mystery Incorporated. They don't. They have no connection whatsoever to Mystery Incorporated, and it's starting to sprinkle out here. But again, like I said, it has no connection to Mystery Incorporated. Whether you want to believe that or not, it does not have no connection. I mean, do they say, oh, we're in Crystal Cove? No. Now, according to what they said on the trailer for the next Scooby-Doo direct-to-video film, a lot of people might say, well, with Daphne saying what she says there, we're pretty much screwed there too. Again, we don't know what's in the future cards, okay? The fact is, just because she says what she says in the movie in the upcoming film doesn't mean it's going to carry on to the next. Okay? It doesn't mean it's going to carry on to the next. All it's going to do is just remain in that movie, because these movies are basically non-continuity. I mean, once, let me ask you this. Did they ever once in Cyber Chase? Did they ever once in Monster of Mexico? Did they ever once? And I'm asking this honestly. Did they ever once in Witch's Ghost acknowledge what happened in Zombie Island? No. Did they acknowledge what happened in Witch's Ghost in Cyber Chase? No. Did they acknowledge what happened in Cyber Chase in Alien Invaders? No. All they did was just continue on with the next phase like it was complete, like it was just new. Everything else never happened. That's what it was like. It's like nothing else happened. That's basically what it was. Nothing else happened. End of story. So, when you take a look at that preview for that next movie, which is after Mask of the Blue Falcon, it does not mean it's going to carry on over into the movie that comes afterwards. And believe it or not, the more support you get for something, the more it's going to happen. Now, I admit Linkara has a point on one thing, though. It seems that when corporations ask you what you want, they put out a poll. Certain corporations will listen to that poll, and they'll use the information you gave them, or they'll take it down because it's not what they want to hear. Now, I'm not sure if Warner Brothers, they own DC, but I'm not sure if they do exactly what the DC division did and put up the poll and say, do you want to see this? Do you want to see Shaggy and Daphne together, blah, 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 and then suddenly take it down because it's not what they want to hear. Do you think they would say that? Do you think they would honestly do that? I'm looking outside, seeing the rain here. Because, my honest opinion, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that they wouldn't be like DC and do that, but then again, no one really knows. But again, the point I'm trying to make is, just because you don't think something's going to happen doesn't mean it won't. Because it might. And it's raining out here as I can see it. In fact, you can hear it. But the point is, like I said, just because she says that doesn't mean it's going to continue on to the next move. Continue on from movie after movie after movie. I mean, basically what they're doing with Scooby-Doo when it comes to, let's say, Fred and Daphne is they're following what they see in Disney. But Disney even changes things up. I mean, take a look at Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, if you will. I know, not one of the best examples of a good movie, but take a look at it. They gave Quasimodo a girlfriend. A girlfriend that when you look at her, you could say, hey, that's like, she kind of has the look of a Daphne, and she's falling for someone like Quasimodo. And she says she loves him. And you're wondering, and if you're wondering, what the heck, right? But again, if they're willing to do something like that, then it means they're willing to do, that means, well, basically what that means is you can never say never. That's basically it. Never say never in animation or in the entertainment business. I mean, when you think about it, again, Mystery Incorporated, in my opinion, was basically this generation's Where Are You? And if it was this generation's Where Are You, then it's slowly going to progress to where we might just go and have shows similar to what we had in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Maybe switched up a bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe switched up a bit. But my point is, folks, I believe it will happen. It's just that it's only a matter of when and where and how. You know, when it's going to happen, basically like what movie, when is it going to happen? Like what when, like what movie, what year, and how? Like what's the plot point? How is it going to come together? You know, and I'm sure a lot of people might say, well, if they really want us to like Fred and get behind Fred, they should have him acknowledge that he's more involved with his traps at times in solving mysteries than he is a relationship, and that he'd rather let Daphne be with somebody that even though they like to eat, are more concerned, can actually accept having a relationship. You know, man, it's pouring down out here. And I'm looking, seeing if he'll drop off my nephew. I don't think he will if this continues. But anyway, my point is, you can never say never. And I truly believe it will happen. But it's just a matter of how, when, and where. So I ask you guys that question. When do you think it's going to happen? How do you think it's going to happen, and where? Because I truly believe it will, but do you believe it? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to y'all later.